And happy crazy morning. So I apologize that we are coming to you so late. Normally we start at 12 p.m. Eastern time, and I just had problem after problem with our streaming platform, to be quite honest. So I'm trying something a little bit different. Bear with me because I'm going to learn how to use this while we are coming to you live. So how fun is this? All right. So thanks everybody for, coming on the stream, even though we are so late. I appreciate that you waited and hung around because we have a great tutorial to share with you today. I'm going to be showing you how to make these really cute stuffed ornaments. They're like, an ornament ball, but we get to add some applique. We're going to add a vinyl frame where you can add a gift tag or even a little monogrammed sentiment or note, or you can display a photo in there and, honor a friend or family member on your Christmas tree. So it's a really fun project. It comes together rather easily. You can embellish it to the nines or keep it nice and simple. The choice is yours. We're going to be going through all of those great tutorials. It also makes a really great craft if you've got some littles who are about to be on winter break like I do. Something great to keep their little hands busy and give them something to do during these, fun holiday afternoons. So lots of different ways you can interpret this project, and we're going to have fun with it. So before we get started, let's see. I have to search for my images here to share on the screen. And I just realized that I forgot a few. So bear with me here because I've got to show you all a couple of things that, of course, I had loaded on our previous, let's see here. Sorry, one moment. I had all these images loaded, was ready to go at 12 p.m. Eastern time, and then you know how it goes. Gotta love technology. All right. Okay, I think I'm getting everything here. If you are not already getting our Sulky newsletters, if you're not on our email list, be sure to sign up because all this week we have had some amazing Merry Christmas Day sales. Each day, there's a different product or group of products that's on sale, all in the spirit of the holidays, really. But today we've got Filane acrylic thread on sale. Again, I had all of this prepared, I promise you all. So bear with me again one moment. I want to make sure I'm saying the right thing. I got all discombobulated when we were not able to go live as intended. Yes, today, acrylic Filane thread. We are on the A of Merry Christmas, so we've got one more day of sales, 35% off all acrylic Filane thread. As you know, Filane is our 100% acrylic thread that blooms when you brush it with our Filane wire brush, which I always have at hand. So this is our Filane wire brush. When you add your Filane to your cart, be sure to grab up one of these so that you can brush up the thread and create those really cool faux fur effects. So fun stuff. All right. Ooh, I see now. Here we go. Now I've got the chat running. Okay, everything is right with the world. Be sure to put your comments in the chat because we have an amazing prize to give away to one lucky viewer who is watching, sharing, commenting, giving me those great emojis, all of those good things. Today, we are giving away our 4-pack of exclusive wooden ornaments. These are awesome stocking stuffers. I absolutely love them. We've got a pair of scissors, a thimble, a spool of thread, and maybe my personal favorite, the sewing machine. So these are really, really adorable ornaments, and one lucky viewer is going to win the 4-pack. Here are the other ones a little bit closer up. That's the cute little thimble with the heart at the top. And then we've got our thread spool, of course, and our pair of scissors. You know, I mentioned last week that the scissor ornament would be so awesome if you are looking to gift something to someone who maybe is a hairstylist, hairdresser, whether it's a relative or the gal or guy that you go to on a regular basis. They would just think this is the cutest little ornament as well. So it's not just for sewing people. Lots of other people would enjoy that ornament too. Maybe even a teacher. And then here is our cute little sewing machine. Also last week, somebody asked me if these could be painted, and they can actually. So if you want to create your own little painted wooden ornament, you can use this kind of as a blank and then really personalize it or put someone's name on it, all those good things. So if you have, you know, maybe a secret Santa thing going with your sewing guild or something like that, these would make really, really cute, great gifts. All right, some more stocking stuffers and great little gifty items we have at sulky.com. Brand new on the site are these adorable needle minders. We've got this really cute snowman and a little Christmas gnome. There's also a Christmas themed little truck that has a Christmas tree in the back of it. So these, again, make great stocking stuffers, and we have very limited quantity of these available at sulky.com. So while you're stocking up on your filet thread and getting that really great deal, grab these up, fill your cart so that you can get to that free shipping threshold and gift these away to some of your sewing friends. All right, and if you all have some other ideas for great little sewing themed gifts, stocking stuffers, stuff like that, let me know in the chat, because I am always on the lookout for cute little sewing themed goodies. And I like to display, you know, ornaments and things like this all year round, like these wooden ornaments. You don't have to hang them on a tree. They can be a little display in your sewing room. So they have lots of life in them, not just something that you get out for the holidays. All right, so let's get to today's project at hand. I'm just checking the chat. Sue, thank you. She says, you're finally on. I know. Sheesh. Hello, Carolyn. All right, everybody's coming on. Here we go. Cold Maine. I know, it is so cold. We are finally getting our snow here in Colorado. They said we were going to have blizzard conditions in the morning, and guess what? Not a flake in sight. But I see out my window, it has started, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's cold almost all around the country here. So I hope everybody's staying warm and get in your sewing room and get nice and cozy and make some projects today and hunker down, right? All right. Yes, Loretta, I know. She says, I wasn't sure you would broadcast today. It was touch and go for a little while, but here we are, finally on. All right. Oh, Pat says, are the needle minders magnets to hold the needles? Yes, they are. You know what? I have one. And in all the commotion of trying to go live today and navigate a new platform, I honestly don't know where it is. But yes, so if you do handwork, you can have your fabric in the hoop and put your little needle minder, has a magnet on the back and a magnet on the back of the needle minder, so you can stick it to your work. And then while you're working, if you have to put your needle down and then resume a little bit later, you're taking a break, you can just put your needle on the little magnetic needle minder and everything is nice and tidy. And you don't have to put your needle through your fabric or through the work. You could just put it on your little magnetic needle minder. You can also make a little felt or what would you call it? Like a little fabric kind of cuff to go around your sewing machine and put your needle minder on there. And then as you're swapping out machine needles, let's say you're going from regular sewing to machine embroidery, or you are working with different thread weights, so you need to have different needles at hand, you can put those on your little needle minder and then just swap throughout your project. So they're really great for on-the-go sewing as well. Whether you're doing handwork or headed to a class or something, you can just put your needle on that little magnet, throw it in your sewing kit. They're really great and really festive. All right. Okay. Sharon says, I almost gave up on you. Thank you, Sharon, for coming back on. Appreciate it. It's chilly even in Palm Springs. You know it's cold when it's chilly in Palm Springs, right? All right. Oh, this is a really great little Christmas gifty. Betsy says, last year I made 20 embroidered pin cushions set in small glass jars full of colorful buttons. So cute and useful. I love that. Love the picture hanging in the background. So if you're talking about this cute little quilt, we talked about this on last week's So What. You can find that on our YouTube channel, on our So What channel. This is a pattern by Material Girl Quilts. It's called Oh Christmas Tree. Bunch of triangles. Really quick sew, actually. Once you get all of your triangles cut, that's really, that's the real time intensive part of that project. All right. Oh, Joan, thank you so much. She says, I invited some friends to this. I hope they didn't give up. Yeah, I mean, usually we are right on time, so I apologize, everybody, but it does look like lots of people are joining. So let's get to today's tutorial, which are these adorable little ornaments. And as you can see, there are really cute layered appliques on the one side, and then on the other side, they have got these cute little vinyl pockets where you can insert your photo, insert a gift tag, insert a little message. So cute. So they come together rather easily, and the applique templates are all part of our blog post. So you know what? There probably isn't a description for this video yet, but I will definitely populate the description. And if you subscribe to our email list, then you have all the links for everything you need for today's show in your email reminder that we send out about our So What's every week. But I will definitely populate the description of today's post as soon as we are done going live here. It's just, I had to hop on a different platform since we were having so many difficulties going live. And so I wasn't able to add a description quite yet, but there will be a description right over to blog.sulky.com. You'll find our Quilty Ornament Frames post, and we will also put that link right in the chat so you can find it relatively easily if you want to click over there and bookmark it for after we are live here today. But all the applique templates for these cute little motifs, you've got your Christmas tree, your present, and the snowflake. You will find this PDF to print out, so you'll have all these applique pieces and can assemble your ornaments. You can also use these appliques for a table runner or a placemat set or something like that to kind of coordinate your decor. And you know what? I love making a personalized ornament like these guys, making one for everybody who's coming over for Christmas dinner, and then they get to go home with it. So I like to put it on their plate, and that's kind of their place card. They know where to sit, and then they get to take something home with them. So really cute. And if you've had a loved one who maybe passed this year, you can put their photo in this ornament and gift that to everybody at your holiday meal. And it's just such a cute, nice way to honor somebody, and, to make everybody have something special on the special day. All right, so back to our project at hand. Here are the materials that you're going to need to assemble your ornaments. So of course we are using Sulky Perfect Applique Fusible Web. If you have not tried Perfect Applique yet, I highly suggest you throw that in your Sulky.com shopping cart because it is the most lightweight yet strong fusible web I think I've ever used. And I know I work for Sulky, so I have to say these things, but I really don't. You know what? Sulky has great integrity. They really promote the best products out there. They do not release something until it's been tested and tested and tested. And you know what? I really have to say I love working with it. It doesn't give you that crispy feeling or change the hand of your fabric after you apply it. It just easy to work with. So we need that fusible web so that we can do our layered appliques. Also, some really fun threads here. You can experiment with lots of different threads for the quilting and the applique stitching on your little appliques. Now, this project was designed by Heidi Pridemore. She's a quilt artist and designer. Her company is called, oh my gosh, it was just on the tip of my tongue. Whimsical, please help me out here, friends at Sulky. I'm so sorry, Heidi, that I am totally spacing it. Anyways, she's a fantastic quilt designer and artist, and she really had fun playing with all these different Sulky threads. She used the poly sparkle, she used various Sulky metallic threads, and then to construct the ornaments, we need some 50 weight cotton thread. All right. Also, you need some assorted fabrics, of course. You need fabrics for the base of your ornament, and then some various fabrics for your appliques so that they really pop off of that base fabric. You also need a little bit of fiber fill stuffing, and we're going to be using a little bit of fusible fleece, and we're going to fuse that to the wrong side of our ornament pieces before we do our quilting. That way, it looks very quilty. There's almost a little subtle trapunto effect where your stitches make the applique elements kind of poof up a little bit. And that's how we're going to do our quilting and have some really nice texture and dimension for our applique designs. Also, some wonder clips. If you don't have any wonder clips, put that on your Christmas wish list, because once you try them, you will wonder how you lived without them for so long. And we do have them at sulky.com. We have them in 2 different sizes, small little ones, which are great for quilt bindings and mitering corners. And then we have the larger, I think they're called the original wonder clips that are shown in this image here. You also need some various marking pens, a fabric marking pen, and then some sort of marking pen to transfer your applique templates onto the fusible web. And then, of course, you need your trusty sewing scissors. All right, let's see if I can find the right image to go to now. All right, so first things first, we need to transfer our applique templates to our fusible web. And on one side of the PDF that you will print out from the Sulky blog, you'll see the individual applique pieces that you will need to transfer to your fusible web. On the other side, you will see these are the key, okay? So this is how you're going to assemble those pieces when you're doing the layered appliques. So you only need to transfer the images on the one side and then that snowflake, and then you're going to use that tree and the finished gift box as your key for assembling those layered appliques. All right, so you can see that all of our little templates have been transferred to the Perfect Applique Fusible Web. And then you want to just cut them out a little bit beyond the perimeter of each template. So now we've got all of our pieces, and we're going to apply our fusible web to our fabric wrong sides. And you can really have fun with this and kind of decide which fabric color you want to go where. And then you're going to go ahead and set your iron for a low to medium temperature. You really don't want it too hot here. When you have your iron too hot, the fusible part of the fusible web, the glue that's on there, it will actually kind of melt too much. It could spread a little bit. I mean, with perfect applique, it doesn't happen as much as it would with, you know, let's say a different fusible web brand, to be quite honest. Let's see, I was trying to move my image over, but I can't figure that out. Apologies that you can't see my face. Maybe if I just peek around the corner here, that's kind of creepy. I'm going to stay where I was. Okay. At any rate, you don't want your iron too hot because this is just our first fuse to get the perfect applique adhered to the fabric. Then we are going to do another fuse to get our applique fabric onto the base fabric. So you don't want to have your iron too hot and, you know, sort of lose the stickability, if you will, for our next fuse. And with our layered appliques, we're going to do a secondary fuse as well. So it will have 3 touches or 3 passes of the iron. So you want to have a low to medium temp iron, just hot enough to where your paper is adhering to that fabric. Then you're going to cut out each motif along your drawn line. And you're going to have all your cute little applique pieces. Here we go. You can see the little red pieces are part of that tree. And then we've got all of the little pieces for the gift bag. And then the snowflake is not a layered applique. So we can add lots of sparkly stitching to that one to give it that texture and dimension. All right, let's see if I can find the right image. See, you get used to, you know, using what you have on hand, and then you've got to adjust. It's tragic. Okay, here we go. Now, I wanted to show you this picture because here we are assembling our layered appliques, right? So the best way to do layered applique is to get one of these silicone fusible mats. And we have a couple of them at sulky.com. We have this one shown, which is a silicone Applifuse mat. These are really cool. You put your silicone mat on your pressing surface, and then you put your template or your key underneath it, and you can see right through it. So you can position all your little pieces perfectly, give it a light fuse to make sure everything becomes one, and then you simply peel off your finished layered applique and then apply it to your base fabric. This really eliminates shifting and inaccuracies, things like this that can go on if you choose to just fuse your layered applique right to the base fabric. Because what you would need to do is have your base fabric, position your, let's say, Christmas tree base, give that a little fuse, then position your red little garland, give that a little fuse, and, you know, position your tree base. You'd probably start with the base, then do the tree, then do the garland. And again, now we're doing 5 fuses with the fusible web rather than our first fuse to adhere it, our second fuse to create our layered applique, and our third fuse to adhere it to the base fabric. So is everyone with me? These Applifuse mats are so, so cool. Now, in addition to the Applifuse mat, we also have these Design Pro applique mats. These are from Clover. And I thought we could do a little unboxing and kind of open it together because I haven't gotten the chance to use mine yet, and I'm so excited. So let's see what it looks like. It comes very compact in some little tissue. Let's see, it says non-slip surface texture holds the applique pieces in place. The transparent mat ensures precision placement. The nonstick surface texture allows repeated use of fusible materials. And then it also has a protective nonstick pressing sheet that is included. When we're working with fusibles, fusible web, interfacings, things like that, it is a great idea to use a nonstick pressing sheet over the top of your applique, your fusible, etc. Because as we know, sometimes we can slip up and accidentally have the fusible side facing the iron. We go to touch it, and now we've gunked up our iron like nobody's business. Coincidentally, we also have some iron cleaner at sulky.com that comes in these little tubes. I have some way out of reach, but it's faultless iron cleaner. And I've used a few different iron cleaners in my day, and that's my favorite one. It's so easy to use. So if you do get a little fusible mistake on your iron, sometimes it can just come out of the edge of your applique piece because your iron's too hot and there was a little bit of meltage, right? Again, this doesn't happen to me very often or at all with the Sulky Perfect Applique Fusible Web, but some thicker ones, some other ones you might experience that with. And if your iron is too like screaming hot, and you put it on there accidentally, you could have some of this problem. So at any rate, if you do gunk up your iron, there are ways to recover from that. You grab up an old towel, put your faultless iron cleaner on it, put it on your pressing surface, and you just iron over it back and forth until your iron sole plate is clean. And you do want a rather hot iron when you're doing that. It's the best thing. You'll find yourself cleaning your iron like all the time because it's so easy and you get such a better experience, for subsequent projects. If you leave your gunk on that iron because you think, oh, it's in a weird place and it's not going to do anything, that gunk could transfer to the right side of your other projects. And then you have a weird shine spot with brown gunk on it. Nobody wants that. So at any rate, pressing sheet. Great idea to include that with this product. Let's go ahead and open it and see what it looks like. Who out there has one of these already and can tell us about it? If you do a lot of applique, it's a really, really great thing to have on hand. And of course, you can use it for other projects as well. It's so nice. I don't want to rip it, but I'm going to have to. So Merry Christmas to me, right? Okay. It has a little instruction sheet on the side. Okay. Or inside, I should say. Sorry, it's very loud. All right, so it almost looks like one of those baking sheets. If you use one of those baking sheets to make cookies or whatnot, it kind of has that same feeling to it, but it's much thicker. And you can really feel it has this coating on it to where you stick your fabric on here. I've got to have a piece of fabric, and it's not going anywhere. It's not going to move on you. Let's see if I have... Wouldn't it be weird if I didn't have a piece of fabric, like literally right next to me? That would just be the weirdest thing. Okay, I have a little bit of leftover binding here. Let's see if that'll work. So I feel like it's sticky enough to where I can stick my fabric to it and just hold it up here for you all to see. So that's kind of how grippy it is. That's cool. So when you're assembling your little layered appliques, you have much less chance of them slipping and sliding around on you. Plus you see through it so you can, plan. And then this is the nonstick pressing sheet. It's huge. This is so awesome. So what you would do is put this on your pressing sheet, put your template behind, layer your applique pieces, put your press cloth on top, which you can see through, and then give it a little press with your hot medium temp iron. and you just want to press it maybe 3 seconds, and then lift up your pressing sheet to make sure that everything is fused together. Now you have one unit rather than multiple units that you can then go apply to your base ornament. All right, I think that was rather thorough, but I'm going to check the chat and make sure that all right, Betty says, great idea. I will make these ornaments for my grandchildren with a picture of them with their dog. Love that. All right. People loving the wonder clips. All right. Oh, and Crystal says the scan and cut works great for cutting out these applique shapes. Yes, if you have a scan and cut, you can probably scan in that PDF template and cut out all your applique pieces at once. And I think for the scan and cut, you can even use different little shapes of fabric so that you can use all of those great colors too in your applique designs. All right. Careful with your wonder clips. They can walk off because so many people find great uses for them. I find the same is true with your sewing scissors. Am I right? Got to keep track of our sewing tools for sure. Okay. Need to order the iron cleaning. Yes. You know, if one of your New Year's resolutions is getting organized, which mine typically is every single year, or, you know, cleaning out this room or that room, you know, grab up the iron cleaner, grab up our little kit that we have for cleaning your sewing machine and serger, and just get everything in tip-top shape for the first of the year. Okay, so let's get back to it. Where were we? We have assembled our layered appliques, right? We were right here assembling our layered appliques. Perfect. So now we've got to fuse those to our fabric wrong side. But before we, or right side rather, before we do that, be sure to fuse your fusible fleece circles to your fabric circles on the wrong side, because again, we don't want another fuse on our applique. So fuse your fusible web in place onto your fabric wrong side, cut out your ornament circles, then put your applique, your layered applique or your snowflake applique, center it on your circle right side and give it that final fuse. Then we will be ready for some quilting. All right, let me see if I can find that quilting photo for everyone. Bear with me just a moment. All right, so now we have our circles. We've got our fusible fleece adhered to the wrong side. If you don't have fusible fleece, you can use some low loft batting and just use some Sulky KK2000 temporary spray adhesive to adhere your batting circle to your fabric circle. But fusible fleece is so amazing because it's not going anywhere. You're fusing it. It's giving it that nice lofty texture. So when we stuff this with our fiber fill, we're already going to have that loft on the right side of our ornament front and ornament back. And I find that especially along the seams where sometimes you can't get your fiber fill to really fill out along, you know, the edges and corners, having that fusible fleece along the seams kind of, you know, puffs out or gives it the right dimension so that you have that perfect looking circle that's all nice and stuffed. All right, so once these are fused, we are going to do our quilting, I promise you, as soon as I find the right image, right? So you can really have fun with the quilting. This is done in Sulky Original Metallic, and you can see that she added some silver metallic on the inside of the snowflake, as well as those little V's on the outside. and then outlined the snowflake as well. So a little bit of additional quilting just to give it some more sparkle and pop. So a blanket stitch around the entire snowflake, and then some straight stitches going down the snowflake center, and then that echo quilting along the outside of the snowflake and the little V's. So you can choose whatever threads you want to use here, but I love the metallics, especially when you're making a snowy scene or a holiday scene. The metallic threads are just perfect for this. If you have trouble sewing with metallic threads, the original metallic, the hollow shimmer, or the sliver, hollow shimmer and sliver are flat metallic threads, whereas the original metallic is a round thread. You might have better success with the round original metallic if you're having problems with the hollow shimmer or sliver. The hollow shimmer or sliver, since it's a flat thread, it's kind of like a ribbon, right? Even though it's so tiny. So you need it to wind off of the spool horizontally facing your needle. In order to do that, you probably need what is called a thread director. I usually have mine right next to me, but as usual, I'm going to have trouble finding it. So hold on a second. I might have to go way back here for you in order to find mine, but we'll also add it to the chat. At any rate, your thread director slips on your spool pin to orient your thread spool this way. Not this way horizontally, but this way horizontally. You can also attach it to your bobbin winder if you don't have a vertical spool pin. So it's a plastic mechanism that fits right onto your spool pin or your bobbin winder, and then has a, bear with me, everyone. It's been a day, okay? At any rate, it's going to orient your spool this way so that those flat threads can travel through your threading mechanism to your needle absolutely straight without any twisting and curling and turning. It's that twisting that happens because your spool's oriented this way, and see all those twists that are coming off? Over time, and especially with high-speed embroidery or quilting, you're going to get so many twists and turns with that metallic thread that it's going to break and pop on you. No matter what needle you're using, no matter what stitch you're using, and you're going to say, man, what's wrong with this thread? Well, it's not the thread. It's how many twists and turns are coming off of it while it's headed to the needle. So if it's coming off this way, see how nice and flat that's coming off? No twists, no turns. So you'll have much better success using those really, really fun hollow shimmer and sliver threads if you get one of those thread directors that does that for you. Also, you might want to try the poly sparkle thread, which is what Heidi used in this example. So we've got some poly sparkle on the gift box itself. Those stripes are all poly sparkle. Then she used original metallic thread for the bow and original gold metallic thread along the little yellow part of the bow. So a mixture of threads here, and you can see again she's done a little blanket stitch and then some straight stitch detailing along the cute little gift box. So entirely up to you, the stitches you want to use. That's kind of what I love about applique. You don't have to get sort of pigeonholed in that blanket stitch option. You can choose a decorative stitch on your machine. I even have a snowman stitch on my machine, and now is a great time to use it. We never really dive into all of those decorative stitch options that we have on our sewing machines. I don't even know how many mine have, but it has to be probably in the hundreds. And I've barely touched the surface of experimenting with them. I think I even have a stitch that's holly leaves and berries. How cute would that be? So now is really your chance to have fun with all of those fun little stitches. Again, here we've got some metallic thread, and you can see she also added rows of like tinsel or lights around the garland for some additional quilting options. You can also echo quilt around the tree in kind of the same way that she did on this snowflake if you want to give it a little bit more dimension or pops of color or pops of sparkle and shine. So lots of different options. And now is your time to, get creative and really put your spin on the appliques and on the project. All right. So after this, we get to start assembling the cute little ornaments. So let me find the right picture for that so that we can move it right along. And again, all the full directions for this project are on the Sulky blog at blog.sulky.com. So you can get the applique template, print that out, transfer it to your fusible web, use your fusing mat, all those good things. And also the step-by-step instructions as well as your supply list are all on that blog post for you. All right, so actually before we start assembling, we're going to set aside our applique pieces and we need to create our little hanging loops. So it's just as simple as starting with your rectangle of fabric for your hanging loop. You're going to fold those long raw edges to meet along the center and give it a good press to set those fold lines. Then you're going to fold that in half lengthwise with wrong sides together, aligning those folded edges. Now you're just going to top stitch along both sides and you've got your hanging loop. So you'll create a hanging loop for each ornament that you're making. You can kind of assembly line style sew those all at the same time. And then we're going to create our little frames. Now, again, you could personalize these ornaments any way you wish. If you want to do appliques on both sides of the ornament and ditch the frames, you can do so. If you want to really highlight the frames, maybe have one on the front, one on the back, maybe it's grandma and grandpa or mom and dad, something like that, you can certainly do that as well. So if you don't want to do the applique, but you want your little vinyl frame or you want more applique, just to make it your own. So we're going to take our little vinyl squares and we're going to add some fabric frames to them. And you're going to really go back to our hanging loop and make more of these for the frames, but we're not going to sew down the sides because we need to insert the vinyl into that fold, right, to make our little frames. So first, you're going to do your side edges. Once you have those on there, and this is where your wonder clips come in handy because you absolutely cannot pin through the vinyl. First off, it's too difficult to do so. You'll probably end up with some bent or broken pins, so kind of dangerous. But also the pins are going to leave permanent holes in the vinyl. So you just don't want to use them when you're working with this clear vinyl stuff. So make sure to clip your frame edges with wonder clips. And then you're just going to top stitch through all the layers to secure the frames on either side of the vinyl. And then you're going to do the same thing to add your upper and lower edge frames. So now we have our little vinyl picture frames that you can add to the opposite circles for each ornament. And you're just going to top stitch along the outer edges of the frame, leaving that upper edge free so that you can insert your photo or note or gift tag. Now, before doing so, you can add some top stitching to that upper edge if you want the consistency of the stitching around the entire perimeter, or you can just leave it as a folded edge. So that is totally up to you. All right, so next part of the assembly, let me find the right thing. is, here we have our back side of the ornament with our little vinyl frame pocket top stitched. And then we have our front side of the ornament with that fusible web attached with all of our great quilting and applique stitching completed. And then you can see we're going to add our hanging loop and just wonder clip it to the back of the ornament along the upper edge center. Then we're going to place our right side circles right up against the wrong side circles with right sides together and wonder clip the entire edge. Now we need to make sure that we're leaving an opening for turning. So you might want to mark that opening with your fabric marking pen just to be sure you don't accidentally sew the puppy closed. I do that so often, and I end up having to rip out the stitches along my openings. So you can either use double wonder clips, double pins, or just mark that you need an opening so that you have a visual clue when you are going around your circle. Oh, right, I need to stop and start at the opening. So just remember that. All right. So as you can see, we've got our opening along the lower edge. You want to really place it along the lower edge because we need to make sure that our upper edge is sewn so that our little hanging loop is secured with those stitches. So after stitching your circle, if you want, you can trim your seam allowances, leaving your opening seam allowances a little bit wider, or leaving them alone rather, so that it's easier to turn them to the wrong side. But you can clip your seam allowance, or you can use pinking shears along, just beyond your seam line. And that's going to make you, or going to allow you to get a really nice circle edge when you turn it right side out. So then you'll turn it right side out and you've got your opening, right? So in our opening, we are going to stuff this guy. Let me find that image for you. You're going to take your fiber fill and just stuff it to your desired, plumpness, right? You want to make sure to get into that seam line with a little bit extra stuffing and really smooth it out. So you can take a chopstick or a turning tool or something and run it along your seam line to make sure that it's nice and flat, and then go ahead and stuff it. Now, if you're working with some kids, it's winter break or what have you, stuffing is one of the greatest things for them to do. They love it. Well, at least my kids do. They're like, give me the fiber fill. And they'll just start stuffing it in there and having a great time. So after you get it to the desired plumpness, you're going to turn your opening raw edges into the wrong side and clip them shut. Use your wonder clips here. Pins are going to be a little difficult, but wonder clips are so easy. And then you're just going to do a little bit of hand sewing. You can do a ladder stitch, a whip stitch, some kind of invisible stitch to secure your opening shut. And then just like that, you have your finished ornaments. So really cute. I love that they are kind of snow globy-ish. They're kind of, ball ornaments, but made with applique, quilting stitches. And then of course, we have our cute little vinyl frames. So you will simply take your vinyl square dimensions and cut your photo just a little bit smaller than that so it fits nice and snugly into your little quilty photo frame. So just like that, you have some really cute personalized quilty ornaments that you can do in no time. Not to mention, you'll get all those applique templates from the blog post. Print out that PDF, save it to your computer for easy reference. You can resize those applique pieces too if you are assembling a table runner, placemat set, tree skirt, something like that. These are really great holiday motifs that you can really tie in to some other decor that maybe you're planning to make for the holidays. So I hope you all enjoyed. I'm going to go to the chat and make sure that we don't have any questions, that we are addressing everyone. Okay, great. All the links are in the chat for everything we're talking about. But again, I will add the full description to the post today so that you can add it really easily. Michelle says she uses a thread director and it works great. Thank you, Michelle. Loretta says, does Sulky sell a thread director? We do actually. So at sulky.com, you'll find the thread director 1 and the thread director 2. And the only difference is that the thread director 1 holds 1 spool of thread and the thread director 2 holds 2 spools of thread. So if you want to do some twin needle work, or if you want to just have another spool at hand so you can swap threads really easily, you can grab up the thread director 2 and have the option of putting 2 thread spools up there so that you can kind of go back and forth, use all kinds of different metallic threads. I should also mention you need a larger needle when you're working with those metallic threads. You need a 9014 top stitch or metal needle. You might have heard of them called metallic needles, but our needles are called organ metal needles. And you do need a 9014 for these specialty metallic threads or for the Poly Sparkle, which is a 30 weight metallic thread. Poly Sparkle, I find a top stitch needle works great. You can also probably get away with a quilting needle with the Poly Sparkle, but you do need to make sure it's a 9014. The Poly Sparkle is just like our Poly Deco thread, but a little bit thicker weight, and it has those flecks of metallic running through it rather than having the entire fiber be metallic. So much easier to sew and a much more subtle sparkle effect. So if you're looking for really sparkly, really fancy, really doing a holiday scene, go for the original metallic or a hollow shimmer or sliver thread. But if you want just a little bit of subtle sparkle, go with that Poly Sparkle, which is that 30 weight, heavier weight thread. Makes a great impact and really easy to sew and quilt with. All right. Adding ribbon would be nice too. You could certainly use ribbon for your hanging loop if you didn't want to make a fabric hanging loop. So great idea. You could also add some mini pom-pom fringe. I know I'm kind of obsessed with pom-pom fringe, but the little mini pom-pom fringe would look so cute around the outside edge of your ornaments. So if you have some of that, or you can grab them up really inexpensive, you can find mini pom-pom fringe where they sell the ribbon by the yard or the spools of ribbon. And you can grab those up $2-3 maybe. So cute to have those on hand. All right. Would be great to add the year to the hanging loop. Great idea. You could also add a machine embroidery design instead of or in addition to these appliques and machine embroider the year or somebody's name underneath the Christmas tree or snowflake or what have you. So you certainly could do that as well and really have fun embellishing these a lot. All right. Lots of people saying these are so cute. Fantastic. All right. You could leave them flat as well. No need to stuff them if you don't want to. Exactly. Shelby says, will the thread guides, the thread directors, fit all machines? They are designed to not be brand specific. So when you check them out at sulky.com, make sure you read the description. You can also contact your machine manufacturer and say, hey, is this going to fit my machine? And they can help you out there as well. If you also have other questions about the thread director, you can email us at info@sulky.com and we will get you the answers that you need. All right. Iron-on rhinestones would be a great addition. You could add little lights to the Christmas tree. I love it. Very, very Great ideas, everyone. Thank you for sharing. All right, I think I'm all caught up on the chat, but if not, and you still have a question that is not answered, again, be sure to reach out to us at info@sulky.com and we will get you the answer that you need. All right, I just want to make sure everybody is signed up for our 2022 New Year's Eve sew along with Sally Tomato, Urban Threads, and Embroidery Library. We will be going live on New Year's Eve at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a 4-hour long sew along event. We will be making this Smith organizer from start to finish. We will be adding either machine embroidery or fun decorative stitches. If you don't have an embroidery machine, we'll be adding lots of texture, color, and interest and personalization to our Smith organizers. And speaking of staying organized for the new year, hey, this is a great project to get you there as we count down to New Year's Eve. Well, actually, we won't be really counting down since we will start at noon, but we'll still be celebrating together and spending the afternoon making something really awesome. When you sign up for our New Year's Eve sew along, you will get the Smith Organizer PDF pattern absolutely for free, which is a $9.99 value. You will also get a collection of embroidery designs courtesy of Embroidery Library and Urban Threads. You can see we have this exclusive design, Enjoy the Journey, which fits really nicely on the zippered pocket that's inside of the organizer, or you could put it on the flap on the outside. We also have 2 butterflies to choose from, a stamp design that's really cool, or this awesome large scale tree. I will be instructing on the machine embroidery and the decorative sewing or decorative stitching at the start of the event. So once you register, grab up your PDF pattern, make sure that you've read through it and you've pre-cut all of your pattern pieces so that you're ready to sew with us on New Year's Eve. Also, grab up your embroidery files and decide which design you want to feature on your organizer. Load that up onto your USB stick or into your machine, and we will start with machine embroidery. Then we will go to the decorative stitching option to give the machine embroiderers time to finish up their design. We'll go through all the decorative stitching, then we'll take a little bit of a break before switching gears and switching our machines over to regular sewing so that we can do the construction of the bag with Jessica Barrera of Sally Tomato. So that's kind of the down low or the plan for New Year's Eve. So be sure to register and join us. If you cannot join us live or you have to hop out, miss parts of the event, no worries, because just like all of our webcasts and video casts and special events at sewingonline.sulky.com, after the live event ends, it becomes an on-demand video that you can watch at any time. So if we're going too fast for you, or if you have to hop out and take a break, or you can only join for a couple hours, or you can't join that day at all, you can watch the entire thing start to finish. You can fast forward, pause, rewind, all of those things once the event ends. You can watch it a week later, a month later, a year later, whatever you need to do to complete your Smith organizer. Also, just by registering, you will be eligible to win our fabulous door prizes that we give away during the event. Who out there has joined us for a sew along for New Year's Eve in the past? Because this is our 3rd year doing this. They are so fun. This one might be the biggest one as far as audience we have had thus far. So you'll want to join the party, join the conversation. It's going to be a great time. So if you've joined out there, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. If you're already signed up, give me a thumbs up and let me know. Just by giving me all these thumbs up, putting your questions in the live chat, today you're also eligible to win our great gifty. Today we're giving away our 4-pack of wooden ornaments available at sulky.com. So one lucky viewer who is watching and engaging with the post today will win this awesome prize. Now for New Year's Eve, we have some big ticket door prizes. We will be giving away a software package from Creative Drawings valued at $21.99. That's $2,199. I know. We also have some great shopping sprees from Sulky and Sally Tomato to give away as well. So you could be the lucky winner of one of these awesome prizes just by registering for our New Year's Eve sew along. All right. I think I covered everything that's there to cover for New Year's Eve. So I hope you will all join us. All right. Crystal says, I received my kit. Should I cut the pieces before? Yes, we do want you to read through the pattern and cut out your pieces prior to the event. Now, I will say for the machine embroidery, there is a part of the pattern that directs you to shape the flap. Okay, you don't want to go that far. We don't want to shape our flap quite yet. If you're doing machine embroidery or decorative stitching, we're going to do that step as part of the construction process. So you just want to cut the pieces as they're noted in the very beginning of the pattern. Okay, so you'll cut your main piece, your interior pieces, your strap piece, all of those good things. All right. Make sure to measure 500 times and cut once. All right. I also suggest cut your faux leather pieces with a rotary cutter, clear ruler, and mat. Make sure you're cutting up and down and not at an angle, because that faux leather, we don't want to be able to see the wrong side from the right side. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to everyone. So yes, we're going to pre-cut the pieces and you're going to decide on your embroidery. You don't have to really decide on your placement and stuff yet, but decide which design or designs you want to feature on your organizer and load those into your machine, because that's what we're going to start with on New Year's Eve. All right, Heather says hers is here. All right, I was worried about you because you said the Canada shipment takes a little bit longer. So I'm so glad to hear you got yours and can join us on New Year's Eve. And if, let's see, it looks like Uda, just check mine. It's not shipped yet. I ordered in November. Okay. The kits are coming from Sally Tomato. So if you have an issue, want to make sure that your kit's on the way, please reach out to them at info@sallytomato.com. They can track your package and make sure that, you know, it's on the way or give you an idea of when to expect it. All right. Donna joined last year. Are you going to come this year, Donna? I hope you enjoyed. Jean says last year was fun. All right. Sue has been to all of the New Year's Eve sew-alongs. All right. Very good. Love it. Sue is cut out, ready to go. Perfect. Sharon's waiting for her kit to arrive. Perfect. All right. Yep. Donna's on board. First New Year's Eve event for Valerie. Well, if I had my sound effects, I would give you a round of applause. I think you're really going to enjoy it. It's such a fun time. And, you know, our good friends at Sally Tomato are so great to work with. And, you know, Jessica's instructions are just so on point and fantastic. All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed today. Again, thanks for sticking around since we started so late today. We will get all of these technical difficulties fixed, and next week we will start without a hitch. I'm going to knock on wood for that one. All right. Thanks for joining me today on So What. Be sure to tune in next week. It'll be right before Christmas, and we've got some more fun things planned for everybody. And again, of course, I'll be seeing you on New Year's Eve. So have a great day today, hunkering down, staying warm, staying away from those blizzardy conditions if you happen to have those in your area. And I'll see you next week for another So What.